In order to use Helyx-OS as a user interface for openFOAM, just log in into CloudHPC and upload your input STL file onto the storage. Once you have completed that, you can execute a new simulation, selecting how many cores and what RAM you want to use, and going into the STL folders you have just uploaded, and by selecting one of the static instances, in particular Ubuntu 20.04 static. A static instance is a virtual machine that allows you to access it through remote desktop, and it remains allocated until you push the stop button. So make sure to stop it once you've finished your elaboration. Once you've done it, you'll notice your running simulation on the cloud, and you can access the remote desktop by clicking on connect. You'll see a remote desktop like this one, and to start Helyx-OS, just type the following command on a terminal that you can open just by clicking the terminal emulator here at the bottom. So we'll start Helyx-OS, and then you can access all its functionalities. You can generate a new case, you can set the average block mesh geometry dimensions, you can upload all your STL files that are available in the folder on the remote machine. You can obviously set the refinement levels, like set it to 2. You can set, for example, some number of extrusion layers, inflation layers from the walls, and it is possible to set the version of openFOAM you want to use by editing the preferences and by selecting the version of openFOAM you want to use. Helyx-OS is more suitable to be used with the openFOAM of the ASI, so 23.06 is an acceptable version. You can then generate the extraction points, the feature lines that are now highlighted in blue. You can define the material point, and eventually you can go into the mesh and generate your mesh by just click on create button. You just have to wait a few seconds for the mesh to be generated, and in here, but obviously in general I prefer to open the mesh in ParaView for that to be easier to see. Just remember to activate the compose case, and here you are, your mesh with the refinements and all the surfaces defined, ready for the CFD analysis.